Dr. Alex McFarland is a director of apologetics and Christian worldview at North Greenville University in South Carolina. He joins us again today to talk about 10 answers for atheists, why the biggest questions deserve the best answers. Good to have you with us, sir.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me back.
Now, you've had opportunity to interview quite a number of atheists, and we've kind of seen the rise of celebrity atheism, I think, in the last decade or so with Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, and others, Penn Jillette, kind of, putting their non-faith out for the public to see.
Well, you know, of those that are kind of 30 and under, atheism is kind of hip right now. It's kind of like a fad. It's kind of chic and cool to be an atheist. So I was on a few radio shows to debate atheists and at a number of universities. And I always feel like when you're sharing the gospel, relationship is the key. It's a friendship or an avenue to try to really impact the life of somebody. So I tried to make friends with a number of these atheists. One of them, David Silverman, president of American Atheist. Do you remember Madalyn Murray O'Hair back in the 60s?
Yes.
She founded that. Well, David Silverman is the president now. And he's an atheist. He's an enemy of God. But we are friends, and it's been about a 5 or 6 year journey of, I mean, I love the guy. On many levels, I do respect him. He's highly intelligent. Now, he needs Jesus, and I tell him that all the time. But so I began to try to reach out to a number of atheists, the late Christopher Hitchens among them, Michael Shermer of Skeptic Magazine. And we began to, I said, look, I really want to know where you're coming from.
Right. We'll get inside their head a little bit, their heart a little bit. What's the source? What's driving the sometimes aggressive and militant opposition to the idea of God?
Well, I'm glad you bring that out, because the evangelistic heart of the modern atheist really undermines their position. Because look, if there's no God, if there's no purpose, no ultimate meaning in life, I mean, why would you try to make the world better? You know, if we just evolve by accident, if we're going to burn out and just be stardust that explodes someday, hey, eat, drink, and be merry. Why are you trying to evangelize people to a position or away from
Why not let them have their position, and it doesn't matter?
Exactly.
Why does it matter?
Exactly.
Well, Dr. McFarland, I know that you are a respected authority in apologetics, Christian apologetics. Were you ever an atheist, though? What was your journey?
Thanks for asking. I was never an atheist. I always believed in God, but I was definitely an evolutionist. In fact, when I was in high school, I kind of mocked the kids that didn't believe in evolution. I mean, I really believed in evolution. I was playing in a rock band. My heroes were John Lennon and Jim Morrison, and I was all about the '60s and rebellion and that kind of thing. Believe it or not, and I look at my college years and I'm thinking, who was that person? I called myself a philosophical anarchist. And I was in bands, and on the campus of UNC Greensboro, I talked about how there should be no rules. We should be free to do whatever we want. I mean, I wrote songs about legalizing drugs. I was not a drug user, but I believed there should be no laws. I was a stupid teenager was what I was. But even when I became a Christian at 21 years old, I believed Jesus was the Son of God. I began to read the Bible and became convinced the Bible was different. The Bible was unique. However, I still was convinced that evolution was true. Today, I categorically reject evolution. I believe there's no evidence for it, and I believe many of the atheists that I've interviewed, their trump cards are evolution and science, and then the problem of pain. Science is the only test for truth, they think, and everything evolved, and then Christians are evil and the church has done bad stuff. What I found out is that many of the atheists, like me when I was a mixed up young person, had a church background. They had religion but not Jesus. And so what we wrote in the book, the 10 Answers for Atheists, the 10 Answers for Skeptics, there's basically profiles. There's what I would call the wounded atheist. There's what I would call the scientific atheist. There's the spiritual atheist. I mean, believe it or not, 17% of all atheists go to church on a regular basis. Isn't that amazing? So what I found in a lot of the atheists with whom I've spoken, and many that we've seen come to Christ, and it's been my joy to lead some to Christ, baptize them as they've joined churches. Many atheists are afraid. Now, behind the intellectual bluster, you know, you think they're confident and bold. Many atheists privately have shared to me that they have deep questions about their own view of life and rejecting God. But turning your life over to Jesus can be scary.
Scary, yeah. Yeah.
And so there's oftentimes that reluctance, that fear of really trusting God. Atheists have trust issues, and we're called to trust God.
We've got just a minute left, Alex. For someone who's maybe has an atheist in their family or a best friend or a neighbor, what's the best way to engage someone who is just, you know, adamant in their conclusion that there is no God?
You know, great question. As an apologist, you know, oftentimes we want to do a data dump. You know, oh my goodness, evolution, well, here's 25 reasons.
Here's 10 reasons why, yeah.
This might sound counterintuitive, but the first step, number one, is to pray. We know that. Second step is to build a friendship. 3 attributes that we're after: trust, honesty, respect. My atheist friends, I've said, look, I love you. You're my friend whether you ever become a believer or not. Now, do I want you to become a believer? Of course. But hey, I care about you. I'm there for you whether you ever get saved or not. So building a relationship. And there will be a tipping point when there's a lot of trust that then they're going to want the data. Now, obviously, share the gospel along the way, but building friendships, building friendships so you can start a conversation. That's the first step.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Alex McFarland. 10 answers for atheists, because the biggest questions deserve the best answers. And to connect with Dr. Alex, you can go to alexmcfarland.com or visit us at harvest-tv.com. Click on Show Info in the menu bar. You'll find an easy way to link right back to his site. We'll be right back.